This is Maddie. She is clearly very sick, but is luckily receiving treatment for the awful illness that has taken control of her life. The illness Maddie has is actually quite common, affecting 30 million people of all ages, male and female, in the U.S. alone. Not only is it very common, but also very fatal. One classification of this illness has a mortality rate 12 times higher than the death rate associated with all other causes of death for females 15 to 24 years old. You may be wondering what this awful illness is and why you haven't heard of it before, but you probably have. You just didn't know it. This illness that kills so many people is an eating disorder. Anorexia, bulimia, and binge eating are just a few examples. Maddie, the girl from the picture, told her story on YouTube and says, "This is my first video on YouTube, which I chose to make because I was sick of all of the pro-Ana videos I saw, which glamorized anorexia and contained nothing but lies and a false reality." In her video, she told her story from beginning to end. Maddie began restricting her eating at only 13 years old. Once she lost a significant amount of weight, she was hospitalized, but was shortly released after promising to change. Almost immediately after her release, she relapsed and lost even more weight. As she lost more weight, her physical condition began to decline. She was cold constantly, her hair began thinning and falling out, and a numbness spread through her body. It was not until she fainted in front of a movie theater that she was rehospitalized. Once Maddie was back in the hospital, the damage she had done to her body became prevalent. She had to be put on a ventilator. She had 4 chest drains as well as kidney and liver failure. The staff put a tube down Maddie's throat to force her to gain weight so that she could be transferred to a mental hospital. Maddie was in the mental hospital a total of 4 months. While she was there, she gained back all of the weight she had lost, as well as lifelong friends. Now, Maddie says she still has anorexic thoughts, but has yet to relapse, and is so happy to be back at school. Maddie is just one of the millions of people with an eating disorder. My goal today is to bring awareness and encourage you to spread the word. The regularity of eating disorders is alarming. Anorexia is the 3rd most common chronic illness among adolescents. An estimated 7.9% of females and an estimated 2.8% of males will have an eating disorder in their life. And while these numbers only increase, the ages of people with eating disorders gets lower. 81% of 10-year-olds are afraid of being fat. And it's fears like that that lead to eating disorders. There are many risk factors associated with eating disorders, including body dissatisfaction, dieting, thin ideal internalization, depression, and troubled personal relationships. While these aren't necessarily predictive, they may be contributed to eating disorders. Sometimes, however, there appears to be no reason for someone's eating disorder. For example, Maddie says that she cannot think of a specific event that triggered her anorexic behaviors. Now, when I told Maddie's story, I talked about the immediate effects her anorexia had on her body. And while that is important to talk about, it is also important to talk about the long-term effects of an eating disorder. So long-term effects Maddie suffers from include bone weakness, muscle weakness, and delayed ovarian development, which means she has a low possibility of ever having children. Some other long-term effects include heart disease, stroke, and osteoporosis. Bulimia in particular may cause tooth decay and esophagus damage. At this very moment, there are people, children as young as 8 years old, starving themselves, throwing up and taking laxatives just to fit society's ridiculous beauty standards. We as a community can help. We can end the silence that surrounds eating disorders. We can crush the stereotypes by speaking up. There may be a girl who needs help but has no idea she even has a problem. There may be a boy who desperately wants help but is afraid to say something because he believes that eating disorders are a woman's illness. All it takes to help is saying something. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and force the conversation or make a video like I am right now. All I am saying is that if you know someone, or if you have a friend, or you see someone, anyone, who is displaying warning signs of an eating disorder, there is absolutely nothing wrong with showing concern or telling them about what you learned today. Let's join together and end this silent epidemic. Thank you.